Did you know that Donald Trump was sent to a military academy at just 13 years old? His parents believed he needed more discipline, so they enrolled him at the New York Military Academy. Imagine being a teenager, waking up to the sound of a bugle, marching in formation, and following strict rules every single day. This early experience shaped Trump's personality, his confidence, his drive, and even his approach to leadership. But how did a young boy from Queens, New York, transform into one of the most polarizing and influential figures in modern history? Today, we'll explore his journey, his language, and the way his words have played a role in business, politics, and media. Stay tuned as we break it all down in simple, conversational English. Right here on Talk Blaze. Donald Trump is a name that almost everyone knows. Whether you see him as a successful businessman, a reality TV star, or a controversial politician, one thing is clear. He has been a dominant figure in American history. Born in Queens, New York in 1946, Trump grew up in a wealthy family. His father, Fred Trump, was a real estate developer who built houses and apartments across New York City. From a young age, Donald was ambitious. He wanted to be more than just his father's son. He wanted to make a name for himself. After attending the Wharton School of Business, Trump entered the real estate world. In the 1980s, he built skyscrapers, hotels, and casinos, making the Trump name a symbol of luxury and power. His famous building, Trump Tower, became a landmark in New York City. But Trump wasn't just a businessman, he was a master of self-promotion. He loved being in the spotlight. In 2004, he became the star of The Apprentice, a reality TV show where he played the role of a tough, no-nonsense boss. His catchphrase, "You're fired." The show made him even more famous, showing his confidence, his direct way of speaking, and his ability to command attention. But Trump's greatest challenge was yet to come. In 2015, he shocked the world by announcing his candidacy for president. Many people laughed at the idea. A businessman, a TV star, running the country. Yet Trump connected with millions of Americans. He spoke in simple, straightforward language. His words were bold, unfiltered, and different from traditional politicians. But with great power comes great controversy. His presidency was one of the most divisive in modern history. Some people saw him as a strong leader who put America first. Others viewed him as unpredictable and polarizing. His language, his tone, and his choice of words often made headlines. But what exactly made his communication style so unique? While Donald Trump became one of the most recognizable figures in business and politics, his path to success was not easy. Many people think he was simply born rich and had an easy life. But even with his father's wealth, Trump had to prove himself. In the early 1970s, Trump joined his father's real estate business, which focused on building apartments in Brooklyn and Queens. But Donald had bigger ambitions. He didn't want to build small apartment buildings. He wanted to create iconic skyscrapers in Manhattan, the heart of New York City. But there was a problem. Manhattan's real estate world was elite, and many developers saw Trump as an outsider. He was young, he was aggressive, and some people didn't take him seriously. Banks were hesitant to lend him money, and older businessmen didn't trust his bold, flashy style. His first major project, the Grand Hyatt Hotel, was a huge risk. He had to negotiate with the city, secure loans, and prove that he could handle a multi-million-dollar deal. But he did it. And when the hotel opened in 1980, it was a success. Trump had made his mark. But success didn't mean smooth sailing. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, Trump made some bad investments. He built Trump Taj Mahal, a massive casino in Atlantic City, but it struggled financially. His company went into debt, and by the early 90s, Trump faced bankruptcy. Many people thought he was finished. His name was everywhere, but now it was connected to failure. The media questioned if he had been too ambitious, too reckless. Was Donald Trump a business genius, or was he just someone who took huge risks and hoped for the best? But Trump didn't give up. He restructured his businesses, sold some of his properties, and rebuilt his brand. And most importantly, he learned a valuable lesson. Failure was just another step toward success. He would go on to reinvent himself many times. But how did he use his language, his branding, and his media strategy to turn failure into opportunity? Donald Trump was down, but he was never out. After his financial struggles in the early 1990s, many people thought he was finished. But Trump had something powerful: his name. Even when his businesses faced trouble, the Trump brand still represented success, wealth, and luxury. By the late 1990s, Trump rebuilt his empire. He launched new real estate projects, including Trump World Tower and Trump International Hotel and Tower. His buildings had a distinctive style: grand, golden, and opulent. Whether you loved it or thought it was too flashy, there was no denying one thing: Trump knew how to market himself. But perhaps his biggest breakthrough wasn't in real estate, it was in television. In 2004, Trump became the star of The Apprentice, a reality show where contestants competed for a job in his company. The show was an instant hit. Each week, millions of viewers watched as Trump tested the skills of young business professionals, challenging them to sell, strategize, and negotiate. And of course, the most famous moment in every episode: the boardroom scene, where Trump pointed at a contestant and said, "You're fired." That phrase became a cultural sensation. It showed how powerful and direct Trump's communication style was. He didn't use complicated words, he got straight to the point. As his fame grew, so did his ambitions. Trump had spent decades building, selling, and entertaining. But in 2015, he made his boldest move yet. He announced that he was running for President of the United States. His campaign was different. He didn't speak like a politician. He didn't use carefully planned speeches with complex language. Instead, he spoke in short, simple, and powerful sentences. He used phrases that were easy to remember, like "Make America Great Again." His words resonated with many people who felt left out of traditional politics. At first, many experts and journalists didn't take him seriously. But Trump proved them wrong. He dominated the news cycle, used social media to his advantage, and connected with millions of voters. And in 2016, he did what almost no one thought was possible: he won. He became the 45th president of the United States. But his presidency would be just as controversial as his campaign. Some people saw him as a strong leader who spoke his mind. Others viewed him as a divisive figure who disrupted traditional politics. So what made his communication style so powerful? How did he use language to influence, persuade, and even shock the world? The night of the 2016 election was a shock to the world. Many polls had predicted a Hillary Clinton victory. But as the results came in, it became clear: Donald Trump was winning. How did he do it? His campaign was unlike anything seen before. He avoided traditional political strategies and instead relied on massive rallies, direct social media engagement, and an unfiltered way of speaking. While other candidates used scripted speeches, Trump spoke freely, often repeating simple, memorable phrases like "drain the swamp" and "build the wall." His message was clear, strong, and direct. As key states like Florida, Ohio, and Pennsylvania turned red, the impossible became reality. At around 2:30 a.m., Hillary Clinton conceded, and Donald Trump took the stage as America's next president. It was a moment that changed history. Donald Trump's journey from businessman to reality TV star to president was nothing short of historic. He challenged political norms, changed how leaders communicate, and left a lasting impact on American politics. Whether you see him as a visionary or a controversial figure, one thing is certain: he transformed the way people engage with politics, media, and power. His influence will be debated for years to come. What does his legacy mean for the future? Only time will tell. That's it for today's episode of Talk Blaze. We've explored the rise of Donald Trump, his unique communication style, and how he shaped modern politics. Love him or hate him, his impact is undeniable. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to follow and share. Talk Blaze with friends who want to learn English through real stories. And don't forget to tune in next time for more immersive, engaging lessons. Until then, keep listening, keep learning, and stay blazing forward.